Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss operation costing. Operation costing is a costing system. And if you are looking at operation costing, it means at some point in the past you look at job order costing and you looked at process costing. Now guess what? Operation costing is a hybrid system that takes some of the job order costing plus the process costing will give us one elegant compromise called operation costing. That's why we called operation costing as a hybrid system, because it has the element of a job order and a process costing. I'm going to start with frying pan example puzzle. So a manufacturer could be producing two pans using the same machines, same assembly line. And those frying pans could be stamped minute apart. Yet, when they sell them, they are priced differently. So how does the factory that's producing those pans prove the gap is real on its books? Because if they have two different pans, if they're selling one for $50 and the other one for $15, how do they make sure? How do they keep track which one is 50? How do they trace the cost to it? For companies, this is a serious math problem. Math, not only math, a financial problem. Because if they get the math wrong, let's assume the premium brand, they cost more money and they underprice them. They sell the premium at 30 while they're supposed to sell it at 50. And the budgeted one, instead of selling it at 15, they're selling it at 25. Means they are charging more. What's going to happen is this. They are going to lose money on every premium brand they sell, and they are overpricing their budgeted brand. It means this one don't sell because the competitors are selling the same budgeted one at 15. So companies get into trouble. So what we need to do, we need to understand what is operation costing. And as I mentioned, it's a hybrid between the two extreme job order costing and process costing. Let's go ahead by revisiting the basic concept of job order costing and process costing. Let's get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
My AI turns any lecture into a complete study system. You can create summary table, formulas, and example from each lecture. Flashcard builds from the lesson itself. A quiz build on the lesson. And as a bonus, convert any lecture into a portable short audio on the go. So it helps you with the retention. No noise, no generic responses, just clarity based on that specific lecture. Don't just watch, interact, test yourself, and retain the material using Farhat AI. Now go to farhatlectures.com now and see how the AI can help you understand, practice, and retain the material.
So every costing decision lives on a spectrum between two tracing and averaging. Well, here we go. The job order costing, you can say it's a tracing system. It traces each item separately. I'll give you a simple example. If I got into an accident, which at some point I got into a car accident, I had to ship my car to a repair shop. They repaired my car. And when I received the bill, it was labor, direct material, and overhead allocated. It was specifically to my car. So let's assume they spent 5 hours on my car and direct material was $600 and the overhead allocated based on the overhead driver is $300. Those costs are unique to my car because my car is different than the other car. I got into an accident and my car was damaged differently than any other car. Therefore, this is called the job order costing. So every unit is unique. Another example of it, building custom yacht. Each one is different. Audit engagement for CPA companies, for accounting firm. Each client is different in terms of size, industry, risk, number of accounts, number of assets. So that's important. So we're looking at one-off model with a job order costing. So under those circumstances, costs are traced to each individual job In the example that I gave you, the individual job is my car. My car was an individual job for that repair garage. And every plank, every hour, and part has its own ticket. They trace everything separately to every item. And averaging would be meaningless in those circumstances, because if they spend $500 in material on my car, they cannot take that $500 and split it over the other cars. That $500 is traced directly to that work. Process costing is every unit is identical. Think about bottled drink or table salt. If you're producing like Pepsi Cola cans, everyone is the same. It has the same amount of soda, beverage soda. Table salt, the same thing. Refined fuel, the same thing. So total cost are average across all units. This is what process costing. Tracing 1 grain of salt will be ridiculous, frankly. So cheap, clean, minimal bookkeeping when it comes to process costing. You will take the units and you divide it by the average cost, and you will find the average cost per unit. Think about a coffee shop. Say one cafe, they might have 3 drink sizes, and they could have 2 costs that behave completely different. Why? Because they are going to have labor and machine. Labor and machine are basically the same. The barista's effort and the espresso machine are the same for small or large, or for a cappuccino, regular coffee, decaf. The labor amount that you need to input and the machine hours are the same. Now, when it comes to the ingredient, you have to trace the ingredient separately for each cup of coffee, in terms of size, in terms of the ingredient itself. A 20-ounce latte uses far more milk and beans than an 8-ounce cup, just because of the size. So average those, and the small will be subsidizing the large. And this is where you have the job costing side. Why? Because you want to trace the 20-ounce latte, the amount of the milk. And sometimes you could have different type of milk. Well, you have to be careful. The material is different. You could use regular milk versus almond milk. Well, they might cost differently. You cannot average the cost. You have to trace the ingredient differently. So notice what we have here. We have a process costing for some cost, because the machine hours and the labor are the same. You can spread them equally. And we have a job order for the material. Combine those two, and you have a hybrid system. For example, apparel, footwear, small appliances. Here's what they could have. They could have different model that's running on the same machine, but the material going into each type of output are widely different. So the answer is operation costing. What does that mean? It means you use, for some stuff, process costing. For the other, you trace it, job order costing. You split the cost into 2 streams. Direct material behave like a job order. Material content differ batch to batch, so it's traced directly. You tag the costly leather to the premium run, and you tag the cheap nylon to the budget run. Although they're using the same machine, but the output is different. When it comes to conversion cost, which is what? When we say conversion cost, labor and overhead, power, depreciation, rent, the machine works identically on every model. It does not know it's working on a premium or a budgeted model. So why not just trace everything? So a tempting trap, especially for a new manager, is to scan a barcode for every part and every second of labor. Here's why it backfires. Machine hours are identical across model. It does not matter which model you are using. Barcoding each second will add no accuracy if you want to do that. And it's going to create more administrative effort that's not needed, and it's a waste of money. So what you do is you average identical work. That saves bookkeeping. When it's identical work, we'll use a process costing, and the trace different material when you're using material, and this keeps cost honest, which is the job order. So it's the best of both worlds, the best of both parent system, and this is the elegant compromise. Now, let's take a look at a case study for a Cascade cookware. They produce 3 pan lines and they run through one stamping operation. They use the same labor and power per pan. The material is added at the start of the process. So this is very important if you're taking the CPA exam, the CMA exam. If they say the material is at the beginning of the process, this is important. You'll see why in a moment. And conversions happen evenly after. Conversion cost applies after. It means labor and overhead. And here's what we have. We have the 3 types. We have the trail. The unit started at 20,000. They completed all of them by the end of the month and they transferred it. The material is 30,000. Summit, they started 1,200. They completed all and they spent also 30,000. Apex, the 3rd type, they started 800. They have 600 done. It means they still have 200 in process, of which 50% completed as far as conversion cost, and the material that they incur is 32,000. And the conversion pool is 39,000. It means labor and material. Remember, labor and material applies to all three. I'm sorry, labor and overhead, not material. And the conversion cost is 39,000. Remember, the conversion cost is overhead plus labor, and the conversion cost applies to all three. To all three means equally. Now, we have to know how to allocate this conversion cost, because remember, we have 50% of the 200 still in process. So here's how we do it. First, we have the 2000 trail 100% completed and transferred out. The summit completed and transferred out. The apex, we have 600 completed and transferred out, and 200 50% completed. It means the equivalent unit of conversion, EUC, is 100. Be careful. So as far as total equivalent unit as per conversion is 3,900. And how much did we have in the pool? 39,000. 39,000 divided by 3,900. We have a conversion cost per unit equal to $10. Applies to every line. To every line means we have 3. So we add $10 of conversion cost for each, because conversion cost applies equally. We don't differentiate. So now, if we take as far as the material, so this is the direct material, we spent $30,000 on the trail, we produce 2,000 units, so this is the direct material. Then we add $10 in conversion cost, the total cost per unit is 25. The summit, we spent 30,000 in material, we produce 1,200. The direct material is 25 plus $10 equal to $35 per unit. Total cost. Apex, 32,000 divided by 800. Remember, the material is added at the beginning. Therefore, as far as the direct material, would use the 800. Now, remember the conversion cost is only $10. The conversion cost is only $10. If we average them up, if we average the material, it would make Summit looks much cheaper than it truly is, and it will distort every pricing decision. So that's why we don't do that. So the deadly exam trap is this. Those 200 unfinished Apex pan are 50% completed for conversion. But remember what I told you, the materials start at the beginning of the process, and always read these problems carefully. If it starts at the beginning of the process, if they told you direct material at the beginning, it means 100%. Sometimes they might say conversion cost is start at the beginning of the process, then it's completed as to 100%. Then direct material is throughout, happens evenly throughout, or sometimes they tell you 30% done, 40% done. So you have to read those questions, read the question very carefully. So the trap is to take the material and say 200 times 50 times $40, and we would have $4,000 of material. The correct one is the material is 200 times 100%, because the material is applied, starts at the beginning of the process. Conversion, yes, you will take 200 times 50% times $10, which is the correct one. So keep that in mind, because one of the answers will be 5,000, but the correct answer of ending work in process is 9,000. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Meridian Auto assembles two speakers model through one identical finishing operation. So they're using one machinery or one process. All direct material are added at the start. It means material are 100% completed almost immediately as we start the process. Conversion is added evenly. This period, 500 pulse unit remain in working and in process. 40% completed as to conversion. Direct material are $36 per unit and conversion cost is $8 per equivalent unit. What's the cost of pulses ending work in process? So what do we have as ending work in process? We still have 500 unit and ending work in process. Okay, 500 unit, those 500 unit would include both material and conversion cost. Well, we are told the material is added at the beginning of the process. It means for those 500 unit, the $36 direct material is applied immediately. It means if we take $500 times 36, we'll have $18,000. That's the material cost. Then as far as the conversion cost, the remain and ending in work in process, 40% complete. 40% complete means what? It means we have 500 unit times 40% complete. That's what's the equivalent unit multiply by 0.4. That's 200 times $8. That is 1,600. So this is the conversion cost. This is the direct material. When we add them up, they are up to 19,600. So you have to be careful when you are told material are added at the beginning or at the start of the process. It means 100% completed. However, the conversion cost, they could tell you it's evenly. If it's evenly, it means if they say evenly, it's 50%. Here we are told it's completed 40%. Sometimes they may tell you the conversion cost is added at the beginning of the process and the material is spread evenly, or we are 60% completed as to material. You have to read those problems very carefully. Now, whether you are an accounting student, CPA exam candidate, CMA exam candidate, if you're taking this quiz on Farhat Lectures, you could ask the AI to explain the topic, explain the correct and incorrect answer. Basically, it will explain the correct answer and create a similar MCQ to help you practice more. Here's what I can tell you. The best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional resources, lectures, cases, simulations, multiple choice, AI resources. Invest in yourself, and God bless.